Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. I need you guys to smash that like button to extend that S. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make Yeet melodies in FL Studio. So here's an example. So I'm going to get into the components of this. So here's what it comes down to. Now this isn't a fully finished beat. I just added drums just to give you guys context. So firstly, in what is this, pattern 2, I combined a lot of these patterns, but the main starting point is what's called syncopated rhythm. So syncopated is like, if you count the metronome, it's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's called regular counting of time. Now, syncopated is when you count the in-betweens. So like 1 and 2 and 3 and, so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. So syncopated rhythm is the ands. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, like that. Whereas normal timing is just 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're adding these notes on the ands, okay? And then here we're playing E and C. Really just, there's no particular thing. We're just going by tone. And then we're adding that half step to create the turnaround feel at the end. And then here we're playing an entire chord, which is A, C, E. So it's A to the perfect fifth of E, and then C. If we were to pull these notes up an octave, it would be A, C, E, which is the A minor chord. So we're taking the tonic in the fifth, pulling it down an octave. Essentially, we're just raising the third. We do this a lot in EDM. We raise that third. Soul melodies, they raise that third of their chords. It's a simple chord. That's why I told you guys, melodies are chords most of the time. And then we have a reinforced bass here. This is the rhythm layer. So really simple. Once you understand syncopated is the ands, it will open up your guys' eyes to rhythm. Nextly, we have some chords. So let me turn off the master effects because it's like making me sound weird. So the chords here are your suspended second chord. So it's 0, 1, 2. And then, so it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This creates a suspended second chord. And what we're doing is playing a suspended chord into a minor chord. And that's what creates that tenth sound, as this half step right here. So half steps are your key to all things dark and Yeet style. Okay, so we have the suspended second into the minor third, or excuse me, the minor chord. But that sound was a little thin. The sound is from the Morphine plugin, and it is a dynamic suitcase preset, but it was a little too thin, so I had to layer it up with some more sounds. So now I added this sound here, and we're playing the same chords. The only thing is I'm playing a purposeful half step offset. So instead of playing the suspended chord, we're playing the minor chord. So it goes doo-doo. Okay, so I had to soften out the sound in Morphine. This is the deviating keys, and what I did was I added, I think, some chorus. Actually, I might not have messed with the sound. Never mind. If anything, release time. So I'm just filling out the sound. So the first sound was very like stop and go-ish. And it kind of just ended, so I had to pull up the release of the sound to make it keep going. Then I was like, let me add like a padsy keyboard to thicken out the sound and give it a little more tail to the sound to fill in those gaps, so it didn't just end abruptly. So that's what that is. And then Saw we're playing the lead called Hollow Man, and here we're just playing a little small little riff. Now, if you understand that we're playing the A minor chord with those first three notes, we're just basically just gliding back to A. And then we're playing D, which is the tonic. If A were the fifth, D would be the tonic. Then back to A, back to D. Just a fifth. We're playing fifths here, perfect fifths. Glissando, meaning like slide notes. So this is like an added tone. But we're sliding up to that root note. Remember our A was at in that equation at the bottom there. So let's see what else we added. So this one was more of an accent sound. It just kind of wraps up the melody. It goes and it goes back to A. So everything kind of comes back to A, and that's the, cool part about melody is you can center it around a tonal center. Some people call it a root note. Okay, and then after that we have saw. Now this preset is under leads, and we have it as the first patch here. This is really good for making yeet basses. Now this is not the default patch. I increased the decay curvature so it doesn't go. Let me see if I can copy this value. So initially it sounded like something like this, but I didn't want it to fade out so quick, so I made the decay curvature for the filter envelope longer. It still has resonance where it grips onto the ear, but it's going slower, especially at slower BPMs. Let's turn it on. So it's like meow, meow, instead of meow, meow, which would make it short, just like that keyboard initially. I wanted it to go meow, meow, like that. So I had to increase the decay curvature. How long does it take to go meow, like that? So that's what the decay filter curvature was for. And then I found a patch in Toxic Biohazard. It was like one of the first keyboard patches, and it sounded really good. It's called Additive Organ, and it sounds really lush. Let me solo the sound here for you guys. Sounds super yeet, super Playboi Carti sound. Has a lot of, I think I added some resonance. So by default, I don't think this filter was on. I think it was off. So it sounded like this initially. I think I had chorus on too. I just thought the chorus was a little too much, so I turned that off. And then I added a low pass filter with a small decay curvature, similar to what we did in the other plugin there. And I lowered the cutoff and then increased the resonance, so it has like meow. Notice Yeet uses a lot of sounds that have resonance sweeps, and that's what creates like a movement to the sound. So that extra little detail. And let's hear all these layers together. Okay, so let me show you guys, there's one more step. I grouped all the melody stuff into one group here. So we highlight, hit control to highlight, right click the up arrow of your choice and route to this track only. So now all those sounds are going to one specific melody group. In here I have the Fruity Stereo Enhancer. So here's without. Here's what it sounds like normally. So Fruity Stereo Enhancer gives me a nice wide sound, and it grips the ear a little bit more. So I turned the phase offset to the right, and then I inverted the left phase. You can do the opposite too with the right phase. And it just grips the ear with that bass. And lastly, I added hyper chorus to kind of glue all these sounds together with a chorus sound. Now I'll exaggerate this so you guys can hear it because it's very subtle. So here's what it normally sounds like. It's a really good chorus plugin, actually slept on plugin. But I'm going to pull that to about 25%. And then I ran it through on the master channel. Not that this was like make or break, but the Fruity Wave Shaper convex curvature with the cog icon. Click here, go to your mix level, pull this to about 50%. You guys can crank your pre up to boost into it. Turn on oversample mode at 4x, and basically you're just adding saturation to your track. Then I have that running through an EQ2. All we're doing here is turning the gain knob up on the left side. This is a gain knob. It's not messing with any frequencies. It's just pulling the entire volume up. And we're going into a soft clipper with the threshold all the way to the right, which is hard clipping. So here's what it sounds like with all those effects. But it does mess with my voice, as you guys can hear. It's a little bit boxier. Now, one detail I used in the arrangement is I chopped off the ends by going to snap to grid. I think it was on half beat. Grab the slice tool, hit shift, left click to do vertical slices like this. And then I would just pull everything back. So let me just kind of do it for y'all real quick. So this didn't get chopped by accident. So I would slice here. And what I would do is copy the first chop. So I think I chopped in different areas. So let me see here. So I would chop, let me go all the way back. All right, so for the first chop, I would just highlight it, hit Control B, it will latch paste so that it duplicates that thing. And then at the end here, I'm gonna hit Control B again, so it latch paste that thing. So we need to turn our drums back on to hear this. But also too, it's stuttering the melody. So it goes dun, dun, like that. let's turn on the saturation. All right, so that's what it sounds like when you combine this stuff. And then with the vocal melodies and the ad libs, that's what adds that extra, you know, that final layer. And then you just stack it and do cool stuff with your vocal. If you guys want these project files for free, go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. And if you want to learn melody, go to busyworksbeats.com/music theory essentials. That's a whole course built on the foundations of scales, modes, how to make melodies, how to build chord progressions, like everything you need to know about music theory. That's the course called Music Theory Essentials at busyworksbeats.com/music theory essentials. And then we have the Music Theory Magic course, which is taking the advanced approach. Okay, so start with Music Theory Essentials, then move to Music Theory Magic. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it here. Subscribe if you're new, like this video, share with a friend. Peace.